Hey everyone, and welcome to Almost Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Connor, and we are going to talk about this week's TV news, amongst a few other little bits and pieces. So we do this every week. It's basically just what the news was, but also any updates to the channel, we sort of give that here, and also at the end of the show we pick our favourite episode of TV of the week to kind of give you a sort of end of week wrap up. Once again, we're recording this a day earlier than normal, because we have another binge show hitting tomorrow. That is The Tick. On Amazon, so we're going to be doing that over the next few days. So just to clear up a bit of time, gives a bit more time to focus on that. Speaking of binge shows, in terms of stuff that popped up new this week or since last news episode, The Defenders was last Friday on Netflix, and we reviewed every single episode, all 8 of them. It's all finished now. All the reviews are up. You can go and watch that. Nice big playlist, the whole thing.
Yep.
So go do that. It was pretty good. Not great, but pretty good.
Yeah, it was fun, but left you wanting more.
But not in a leave them wanting more kind of way.
Right. Just it felt like maybe something a little bit missing, but it was still fun.
Yeah, good, but did not reach the full potential that could have been achieved.
Yeah.
That's my official logline on the matter. But yeah, so you can go and check out our more in-depth reviews of that. It's quite the journey as well, because we go through kind of a roller coaster of how we feel, thinking of, oh, well, I like this, but then then didn't do anything good with it. The next episode, then it was then it up and down. So you can check those out. But that was it though in terms of new stuff this past week.
Last episode of Game of Thrones is coming up.
Oh sure, I don't watch that though. So, but yeah.
No, but I think it's notable.
Okay, the season 7 finale of Game of Thrones is coming this week, so you can look forward to Connor and Matt discussing that. So
It's going to be a big one.
I'm sure it will be. I'm going to have to find something to do whilst you two are talking.
It's like an 80-minute episode.
Oh,
Yeah,
dear.
it's the longest by far, so lots to cover.
My mind. So that's what's coming this week. So I guess with that said, we'll crack on into the news. So as always, I usually start with a few quick things. First, usually renewals and like premiere dates, things like that, stuff that's usually just quick bullet point type of thing. So first up, Friends from College has been renewed for season 2 at Netflix. Now we never even watched this because we didn't like the look of the trailers, and the actual consensus with all the other reviews and stuff was pretty negative. So
Yeah, general consensus from what I saw was it was a good cast, but they were all kind of wasted.
yeah, so mediocre to bad was kind of the overall messaging I was hearing.
Yeah, but then Netflix have a ton of Adam Sandler movies, so
It's funny because they have decided not to go forward with a few things this year that maybe didn't do as well in the first season as they were expecting. So it maybe just shows that at least some of the bad content, and again, I'm just going with the sort of the critical consensus, but it at least shows you that some of those are still going to be successful regardless of not being good.
I do feel comedies are the easiest. Like I feel a lot of comedies can be critically slammed, but yet a lot of people will just still lap them up.
Yeah, they'll put them on because it's just easy to watch and kind of
Right.
thing. I mean, because I don't even like Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, but I've still somehow seen 2 full seasons of it.
Right, exactly. People just it's like, yeah, go on then, just watch it. It's only 20 minutes.
Yeah, and I'll
I
probably.
mean,
And I'll
look at
probably
something
watch
like-
season 3 at some point, even though, again, I mean, admittedly, I'm there mostly for the theme tune 12 times or whatever it is. How many episodes are?
worth it. But I mean, even on actual like just broadcast TV, if you look at something like Big Bang Theory, critically kind of panned. No one really likes it on a critical level yet. Lots of people seem to watch it for some reason.
Unfortunately. And obviously that does well enough that they keep having to renegotiate with the cast to pay them more per episode because as the show goes on and they're going to their contracts are ending, oh man, we're going to have to offer them a lot more money to stick around for another year, 2 years, or 3 years, and
Yeah, they're getting something like
it's over $1 million. Yeah.
It's more than $1 million an episode, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Even the sort of the 2 newer characters who came in later on, they had to renegotiate this past year. There was a whole hubbub about them
And
negotiating.
don't forget, we've got a spin-off coming up.
Which interesting tidbit about spin-offs is that the creators, I mean, in this case I think Chuck Lorre, who created Big Bang Theory, is creating the spin-off, but even if he wasn't, he would get paid for every single episode of the spin-off that gets made as well. Which
That sounds fair to me.
Which is why the spin-offs thing kind of like, because I remember when Frasier was finishing and people thought, oh, we're going to get a spin-off with Niles and Daphne, and they went, well, no, because then we have to pay the creators of Frasier and the creators of Cheers for every single episode of this new spin, and it becomes this, this cost that just keeps multiplying as you keep going down the rabbit hole. So, as I say, it'll never happen. Obviously, these shared universe things are a bit more of a weird thing because it's all under the umbrella of a company, and it's not like. It's not like there's one guy who created Daredevil who's then getting paid for Defenders. Not really, not in the same way.
No, it's different, isn't it?
So yeah, that's been renewed. But in things we actually care about being renewed, Room 104 has been renewed for Season 2 at HBO.
Oh, good.
Excellent news.
Yes.
Only 4 episodes in, but we're digging that a lot, so that's good. I
have no complaints so far, so...
Yeah, no, it just makes me wonder, what else. Part of me was thinking that I've not said this, but I'm going to make a guess here, right? I'm going to make a wacky prediction. I think Season 2 will be a different room. Now it'll still be 104,
a different motel.
That's what I'm thinking. Not a motel. I'm thinking they'll go something different with it. It'll be Room 104 at a. Like a classroom maybe. It's like, it's Room 104 in this school or Room 104. I'm just thinking I'm sure they could do another 12 episodes all set in a motel room, but I'm just thinking for creativity, do you then say, oh no, it's Room 104? I mean, maybe hotel's too similar, but like...
There is differences still.
Yeah, but pick a different, a different building that has a lot of rooms and set it there. Something that'd have different people coming in, which is why I'm thinking maybe classroom in a school's not quite, but like like a university room 104.
A classroom in a school's still not that bad because you can say different classes will go in and out of that room. Teacher might stay the same. But... Yeah,
I'm just thinking about like a lecture hall in a university. A lot of people just come in and out. It's different people, different teachers.
Yeah. Like places like hospital, doctors' offices.
Hospital would be good, yeah, because different patients, different, yeah. You may get sick of seeing someone lying in a bed, though, if it's always a patient that's lying in a hospital bed. But outside of that, you can see the potential there, or even maybe, I don't know, like a meeting room that's in like a government building.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much anywhere.
I'm just saying,
doors.
I wonder if you could take it but set the Room 104 in a different place, and then that maybe opens up a new set of possibilities.
I think they could if they wanted to.
I don't know if they will. Maybe they just do have just a bunch of ideas for more motel romantics.
That's it. It's just down to whether or not they want to. Like, the name is vague enough that they could get away with it.
Yeah. It makes me... Yeah, because I think the reason why a motel maybe it works and maybe does keep going for seasons and seasons is because anyone can just go to a motel room. Like, you can have anyone in there. Whereas some of these other examples I'm saying, it limits maybe the possibilities a little bit. But I was just curious. I was thinking about it. Like, do they move to a different location? But it's still always in that same room all season. But
I can see it. There's definitely potential to do that.
We get a short teaser for The Punisher, which actually also doubled up as a sort of post-credit scene in the final episode of Defenders this week. And there's not much to it. Like, I didn't make a point of telling you to go watch it.
I saw it anyway.
You saw it anyway. I saw it as well. I didn't rewatch it for this. So usually if it's something that I think we're going to talk about in depth, I'll rewatch before we talk, because I'll usually, I'll be vague. It's more of just a teaser though, where it's like, it's a bit of a monologue. There's some close-ups of things happening. He's standing there. It's dark. It's all kind of...
Yeah, I like the music, very military-style music, brass and snares.
Makes sense, given the type of character.
Right, exactly. It works.
So, no, it's just it's nice to see a tease of it. Hopefully,
that's good. I was surprised it didn't end with a date when I saw that trailer.
Yeah, I think that was just to...
Don't want to undermine Defenders.
Yeah, not take away steam from Defenders. I was actually because they put it out in the day Defenders went up, and I thought that was weird because you really wanted, and the reason for it is because obviously it was attached to the last episode, so that made sense.
So it was going to come out anyway. Yeah.
Yeah, but it felt weird at the time. It'd almost be cool if they, because I know they can go in and edit them a little bit, like their entries. So I wonder if maybe it would have been wise to only attach it to the last episode maybe on Sunday. Like wait a couple, and for people who binged it already, tough. You didn't get it.
Right, but the problem is that's kind of their big. That's like their key audience, though, isn't it? The people who binged it all already, they want to keep them going. Hey, you're the people who are invested most. Here's Punisher for you.
Those people are going to see it online,
right? But those are the people that Netflix wants to reward. Not you don't want to punish them, because then they'll feel left out.
It's true. I just think it's weird putting the trailer for your next one out and they release.
Honestly, yeah, I get it. I think maybe they shouldn't have put it out separately and should have just left at the end of the show for a few days at least. So then those people who did rush through it got rewarded for it, and then the buzz starts talking.
But that's a sad thing.
Put it up online on Sunday.
I don't think that would have worked though, because as soon as someone got to that last, because there's always going to be some asshole who goes to the last episode first, right? And they're going to see it, and they're going to tell people about it, and then someone's going to rip it, put it online.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Like, you know, it wouldn't have worked that way anyway. Which is why I'm saying the idea of just like keep it locked for a couple of days and then let it be up.
I get, yeah, but I feel like it's just a dick move to punish the people who go through it like that.
Either way, it's weird. Maybe they just shouldn't have attached it to it. Like,
maybe
the show itself. Before, the show itself should be a reward enough, quite frankly.
Arguably, yes.
Have they done that before? I want to say there was something at the end of one of them, but again, it was just like a trailer. It wasn't like an actual post-credit scene.
I remember back at the end of, I think it might have been the very first Daredevil, where they wanted to put something as a post-credit scene, but because Netflix just stops automatically, you know, they decided not to.
Well, it doesn't stop; it shrinks the
right. But people then just, because then they think it's finished, so they go away.
Yeah.
So they decided not to. So it's interesting they've changed their minds on that.
Which is funny actually, because see if the credits don't shrink, you know, there's going to be a scene later on.
Right. So I just kind of thought maybe Netflix just keeps it up because it's like, oh, there's still something to play, but they didn't with this.
They didn't with this, but I've seen it done with other things. Like if there's a post-credit scene in like a movie, the credits will just stay full screen. Right. And yet you actually know it's worth staying because or you know, you fast forward it probably because you can, but like you know something's coming because the credits haven't shrunk.
I'm surprised they shrunk them on this then, really.
I think it's because the way they've implemented this because I think it's still a separate video file.
Right.
It just auto plays at the end of the last episode, so it'll go to it once you've done. I think.
I don't think it was because it came at the end of the credits, but you know how then they sometimes do the credits in the other languages at the end of the Netflix original shows. It came before that.
All right. Well, maybe they've just got a new system where they can bring it back up again.
Yeah, maybe.
But obviously before now they didn't.
Yeah.
Certainly back when Daredevil Season 1 came out, because I remember that as well. I remember them saying, we wanted, or we thought about it, but the way Netflix works, it wouldn't work because the credits shrink and then people leave it and whatnot. But hey-ho. Speaking of Netflix, we got a little bit of news on Stranger Things. The Duffer Brothers were in an interview this week, and it was with Vulture, is who they were talking to, and they were talking about maybe the sort of the overall direction of the show and how long they think it's going to be lasting. And they said that they were expecting it to last 4 seasons and then be done. They didn't want to drag it out past that. They also said that Netflix have actually already renewed it for a season 3, but Netflix, when news outlets contacted Netflix to confirm this, have you already greenlit Stranger Things for season 3? Netflix were like, we are not commenting on anything. So I think they weren't supposed to tell anyone that it was already greenlit for season 3.
So it's a yes, but Netflix didn't want to say that yet.
Yeah, so I think it is greenlit, and I was expecting it to be anyway, but I think they weren't supposed to say.
I think Netflix are probably saving it till a little bit closer to the launch so that they can kind of get the early buzz.
It doesn't matter now, because every news site on the goddamn planet reported this, because once this came out in an interview with Vulture, every other news site said, Stranger Things already renewed at Netflix.
Right, but by Netflix not commenting, when they put out an official announcement, news places will still put the headline.
They'll still run it, but the audience will just be like, shrug, we knew that, what are you doing?
Right. It's just another chance to get it in the headlines, though, isn't it, in case someone missed it.
It's like when a game leaks before E3 and then it showed up at E3. Like, okay, great, but we knew about this. It's not exciting anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
But hey, a little tidbit here that I thought was interesting is that they were talking about how it would feel weird if something kept happening to the kids every single year. And they mentioned that at the end of season 3, the kids will all be heading towards college. So it sounds like the 4th season would take place either when they're all college age or maybe in their early 20s. And depending on how things map out, because obviously all the actors will be going through puberty about now, because they're all at that age. Another year, okay, right? Maybe, I mean, does that mean they're going to skip a year maybe, so that they look like later high school aged for season 3?
Yeah.
And then do they skip another year before season 4, so that they're all maybe a little bit older looking again? Because that would be all it took, would maybe be a year out between each season to get that age difference because of the age they're at, whether they're aging so fast.
It might still be look a little bit too young though. Still, if they want to be college by the end of, in 2 years' time, essentially, if that's with a year out.
No, I'm saying 2 gaps though. I'm saying a gap between 2 and 3.
Right, but for the end of season 3, they're going to be college age, right?
Yeah. Well,
So,
heading off to college, so
right, heading off to college, but that's still that age. So that's essentially 2 years from now if they took a year off.
yes.
So I don't know. That's still maybe a bit young.
I don't know. What do you think they're going to take, like 2 years off before season 3?
Maybe.
That seems I don't know.
Seems like a long time though.
That's starting to feel like a long time if that's the plan. I feel like here's the thing though, like season 1 especially, that was filmed before we saw it. Like, so what are the kids looking like? But in terms of real life, by the time we actually see season 2, like how much have they already aged since the filming of season 2 at that point?
Right, that's true. I mean, we saw a bunch of them around, award season. We saw all the kids out and about.
They look more or less, what they look like in the show at that point.
Yeah.
But bit of hair and makeup. Like,
maybe we'll have to wait and see.
I don't know. I thought that was interesting though. It was making me think a little bit about it. That maybe the last season would be them as like kind of adults, bordering on it.
Yeah, like coming back.
Yeah, coming back to the town because something happens. Like, I like that idea. That's fun. Yeah. It also makes me wonder, like, okay, well, when is season 3 set? Like that, we know this one coming up is 1984. And that's the year Terminator came out, your Ghostbusters came out, and obviously they're wearing Ghostbusters outfits for Halloween, and we see all these different things. And I'm like, all right, well, let's say season 3 set 2 or 3 years later, right?
That's it. How old are the kids meant to be in the show?
Oh,
like,
do you know what? My head went 11, but that's just because there's a character called 11, and not because they're actually that age.
I did think they were about that age as well, though.
Yeah, I'd say about 12.
11, 12, yeah.
Middle school, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think this next season is only taking place about maybe a year after the first one.
Right, so that's 12, 13.
Yeah.
So then that's like 4 or 5 years then that it's got to go up to be college for the end of season 3.
But again, like, do we fudge it a little bit? Like,
yeah.
Like I say, you take a year out because I think keep in mind, like, 13 to 15 is a big difference, like in terms of how everyone looks.
I think it'll be very interesting if they do, because obviously everyone usually plays down age. They play younger.
Yeah.
As a general rule, just across media, they always play younger. So it'll be really interesting if they play older and how that'll sell to an audience, because we're because as a public we're so accustomed to seeing people play younger.
I don't think it'll matter. I mean, unless like the quote's kind of weird, and what they actually mean is that they'll be going off to college at the end of season 4, but it didn't sound like that. It definitely said Netflix has already renewed the series for a 3rd season, but by the end of that season, the preteens of Hawkins, Indiana, will be headed toward college. That's the exact quote.
Preteens, so they must be 11 or 12 at the minute.
Sure.
Just there. So we were kind of benching from the right place.
Sure. That's it. I'll accept that in season 2 they're all about 13.
Oh, sure.
Right, I'll accept that. Like, whatever. I mean, we're just getting into like nitty gritty semantics at that point. I like the idea though. I thought it sounded cool.
No, I think it does.
And 4 seasons sounds fine. I like the idea that they're kind of aware that this will get ridiculous if something's happening in this town every single goddamn year. So I like the idea that even if the ages don't line up, they're saying, okay, it's maybe another couple of years before something else happens, and then it's maybe another few years and they're adults and stuff. But it would make that last season feel kind of special if they take like 2 or 3 years after season. Like, say we skip a year before season 3, and then we skip like 2 or 3 before season 4. Like, how special does it feel coming back?
That's it. It's like, yeah, arguably they could recast, but I feel like the kids they're too entwined in the show and in the roles already, so they can't.
Those kids are this show.
Right, exactly. That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah, they can't do that. But I think that'll be exciting to see them grow up with it. And I know a lot of people had that with Harry Potter, and yeah, I mean, like I saw it with Harry Potter, but I wasn't as attached to that. Whereas Stranger Things really
you're a filthy muggle.
It caught my zeitgeist, and and I'll wear the name Muggle proudly.
That's it. Come on, comment section. Call him a filthy muggle.
And for the record, I don't hate Harry Potter. I think Harry Potter's fine. It's not into it. It is a cultural thing that I am completely okay. I think I hear about it a little bit too much, but it's not like because ironically, I actually think Star Wars is better. I like the Star Wars trilogy quite a lot, like a lot more than I do Harry Potter. but it's actually Star Wars as a cultural phenomenon that annoys me a lot more. Because
You
you
just
Star
hate
Wars
stuff.
fans, and by you I mean Connor, I'm not pointing at the audience, I'm pointing at Connor, talking, he got his like encyclopedia, and he's talking about monster types and weapon models and all sorts of shenanigans. But anyway, I saw a great article this week. It said the Han Solo movie's name is leaked because it was in like a Lego book, like like a image from a Lego book with the title.
I haven't heard.
You haven't heard this? So Han Solo movie title leaked. Do you know what it is? Assuming it works out to be true.
Is it just something? Is it young Han Solo?
No, it's Han Solo, a Star Wars story.
All right, fair enough. That doesn't bother me that much.
No,
We knew it was going to be a Star Wars story anyway, because that's the tag for these anthologies.
You're completely misreading why I'm telling you that. I'm not. The part of it that's funny is not the title. The part of it is Han Solo title leaks. What's it called? Han Solo, a Star Wars story. Oh, thanks for that. Great journalism.
This is a fair point.
I don't have a problem with it being called Han Solo.
I was expecting something more. You built it up the way you were saying it. But I think I was always just expecting that. So I don't know.
That's the point. It's not a reveal. No one cares because everyone thought it was just going to be called Han Solo.
Which is probably why I didn't even see a headline about it. You only saw it because you went looking, I bet. Not for that specifically. I'm not saying you went looking for Han Solo. But when you went... Did you see it when you were looking through for the news for this?
No, I did not. No.
Oh, okay, fair enough then.
I did not. My attention was drawn to it on social media, and I saw it and laughed out loud and thought, "Oh, that's the title. Why are we keeping that secret? Well, I mean, why has it not been revealed yet? Like, is it if you're just calling it Han Solo? Justify that to me.
Know. Probably just in case they change their minds at some point.
Sure.
Or more likely just because they can just put it on with the trailer then and just show it all at once.
Yeah, but they didn't do that with any of the previous ones. We knew the name of the last two Star Wars movies long before their trailers hit.
That's true.
In fact, 3, including the next one, which we knew the name for as well before the trailer.
No, that's fair. I mean, I guess it was in case they did have a different name, but then clearly not.
Anyway, the point of this story is that Stranger Things, better than Harry Potter, possibly better than Star Wars.
Sorry, I don't know about that. But I like Stranger Things a lot, but I don't know.
You know it's true. I won't stand up for the Star Wars thing too much, but I'll stand up for the Harry Potter thing. I like Stranger Things a lot.
I'm not even debating the Star Wars because there's no point. But Harry Potter, I don't know. I think they're pretty close.
I mean, admittedly, it's down to taste. Like I'm not really arguing the quality is that much different, but Stranger Things tickles my fancy a lot more.
Of course, it does.
Set in the 80s, science fiction, monsters, Cthulhu, maybe in the next one.
Look, I've got to admit, that trailer is cool as shit. I'm looking forward to it. Don't get me wrong.
Harry Potter, nothing but magic without rules, and
there are lots of rules. Don't give me that bullshit. There are rules, you just don't know them.
That is a fault of the filmmakers then for not clearly getting those rules across to me.
I think it's the fault of you not paying enough attention.
Plus, magic wands are just lame. Let's be honest here. Waving a wand at someone and saying Expelliarmus is just kind of lame. I'm not gonna come on now.
Are we really getting into this?
No, we're not. We're moving on. I'm scared of the comment section now because this is the thing. People in our generation really love Harry Potter, so I know I'm pissing people off when I say any of this stuff. I know I am. And I don't even dislike Harry Potter. It's fine.
This is why you get called a filthy muggle.
I think it's fine. Like, Harry Potter's completely fine. I get why people like it. I really do. I really do. It is this generation Star Wars. It actually is. Like, see when you analyse the plots of both of them, they're so... There was a great image online you can see someone's done it. It's like they've written the plot of Star Wars, but they've scored out the names and replaced them with the Harry Potter characters. And with the exception... the only thing that didn't match up is that Voldemort didn't turn out to be Harry Potter's dad. Take that out, everything else lines up with Star Wars.
Oh, absolutely.
So, and I think there's a point where J.K. Rowling just went, you know what, that's too much. I need to take that. No, Voldemort's not his dad.
That's the thing, because obviously Star Wars just plays. It's just the high fantasy tropes, just set in space is the only difference. But it plays into all the fantasy rules. The old wizard, the magical
Chosen
sword,
one,
Chosen
Force,
one, right? Exactly. It's all there. And Harry Potter is just an extension of that again. It's just playing on these themes that have been going for centuries. But,
Aye, so be original, basically, is, I guess, the lesson.
Why be original when you can just be good?
Why not both?
I mean, if you can be both, be great, be both. But one doesn't negate the other.
I can already see the comment in my head of, but Stranger Things is based on a lot of things and it has a lot of inspirations. And yes, it does, child. Yes, it does. Except that I'm just saying things to wind him up, right? Just let it go. Let it go. Anyway, so we were talking about news about 10 minutes ago, and I think we should get back to that.
We've done no news in a long time, so we should do
so. So we have some casting for Titans. Starfire's been cast. Anna Diop, or Diop. I'm not sure how to pronounce that last name, but she's been cast. She was in 24 Legacy, which has obviously been cancelled, so she's free to do it. I think the notable thing about this casting is that she is in her late 20s compared to the actress they cast for Raven, who is in her pre-teens. She's 13. Yeah, there you go.
I think this is. I think I've been reading around, and it's saying that Starfire and Dick are going to be the older, mid to late 20s. They're going to be the mentors.
It's kind of funny how it feels like it's going to be doing like a Titans and Teen Titans thing, because the comics have 2 books right now, and one's the older Titans, one is the younger Titans, and Starfire's actually with the younger ones, and she's kind of been that mentor, and she's kind of becoming the leader. But it's kind of funny that the show seems like it's going to be like, I wonder if Dick and Starfire, did they have a previous team with people their own age, and now they're looking after this younger squad?
The next generation.
Yeah.
Are we going to have them in a relationship? Because obviously that's been a thing in the past.
Maybe.
I can see it being it for this show.
I can see it being a thing, because I mean she's there, she's a character, so why not have them?
Right, exactly. It kind of seems easy, doesn't it?
Yeah, or at the very least they were in a relationship, and maybe now it's this kind of weird, post-relationship kind of status. Yeah. Maybe I could see that being a thing. But no, there's a description here which I'll read out for people who don't know who Starfire is. But Starfire also alter ego Coriander, or well, it's just her name. I mean, it's not really a secret identity in the same way, because she's orange, so it's kind of hard for her to have a secret identity in the same way that Superman or...
Yes, she is bright orange with big red hair.
Yeah, it's the hair I'm excited for. I can't wait to see what the hair looks like.
Just her personality. She's extremely unsubtle and doesn't even think that she needs a secret. She's not really the idea of a secret identity is kind of beyond her.
Oh, but can I just make a point? There has been a little bit of a racist backlash because this actress is black, and I did see someone actually say, "Oh, this is unfaithful to the cut. She's orange. Are we going to be outraged when Beast Boy is cast and he's not green?"
Maybe.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
People will be, because it's the internet.
I mean, it wouldn't be a problem anyway. Like, it doesn't matter if the race has changed. Like, Iris is black now in the show. That's okay in the Flash. Like, whatever. Jimmy's black. That's fine. But it doesn't matter. But she's orange. If your argument's going to be that she's not that color in the comics, she's orange. There's only one person.
Alien.
Sorry?
And an alien.
And an alien. Yeah, but there's only one person on the planet Earth I can think of who is actually orange, and he's not good looking enough to play Starfire. So. Just it's stupid. Shut up, people. Anyway, so she flies and she shoots energy bolts, and it mentions here that she's a take no prisoner stranger on our world. She is searching for her place on Earth. She'll come into contact with the Titans, which, to be fair, kind of goes against your whole mentor thing. It sounds like she's just arrived by that description, but I don't know if that's maybe them just writing a generic description for the character.
Yeah, I don't know.
Or if it's specifically where she is at the start of this show. But
yeah,
she's goddamn orange. I really want to swear. When I mentioned this on Twitter, I was swearing a lot because I thought it was stupid.
I'm sure you will.
But anyway, so that's cool. We got 2 Titans cast then. Very wide range of ages. So. Next up, the Xena Warrior Princess reboot that was in works at NBC is dead. Not happening.
I'm not surprised because I haven't heard about it since they announced it.
Well, it's not been that long, but basically, Entertainment President Jennifer Salke, how you pronounce her name, nothing is happening on that right now. We looked at some of the material. We decided at that point that it didn't warrant a reboot. Okay, why didn't that warrant a reboot? But half the things that are getting rebooted do. I don't know. Maybe NBC are actually better at picking those things. I don't know. I'd have to.
Maybe they are. I haven't actually looked at what they've got in terms of reboot.
Yeah, I'd have to look at the gamut of projects they've got.
Yeah.
Lined up. Because I think they've got one later on, actually, in this news.
Right, okay. I was going to say, I don't remember any reboots from them off the top of my head, but then there's so many that means nothing.
Well, I'm pretty sure they did try that Knight Rider one, like, that's like 6 or 7 years ago now, admittedly. It's been a while.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, in the last couple of years sort of thing, where it's been like a big thing.
I'm sure they're guilty of it, though. But still.
They probably are, because everyone is.
Yeah, because aren't they the ones working on the Monsters? Or was that ABC? I think it was NBC. But...
don't know.
Then again, I'm not against the Monsters reboot. I wasn't really against the Xena reboot either. Like, I think a Xena has more... Like, more of a reason to reboot it than a lot of other reboots that are,
especially compared to some of these sitcoms and stuff. And
yeah. All right. So swinging over to Marvel, this is just a really small thing. There's a TV festival going on right now in Edinburgh, and someone from Marvel, who is it? Karim Zreik. That's an interesting name.
Look, before you get to this news, the fact that you segued this with swinging over to Marvel, if this isn't Spider-Man related, it's going to be very disappointing.
It could be Spider-Woman related.
Okay, I'll allow it.
Or Spider-Girl, depending. But yeah, so... so they basically said at the festival that they want to do more female-skewed shows. I don't know why he said skewed. I mean, just say what you mean, female-centric shows, because you have one out of, 6, 7 shows in the works right now? Probably more than that, even, if I really think about it. But, basically they've got one in development with ABC right now. They wouldn't give much information, but he did say that it is Jessica Jones-esque. Which, I actually have a problem with that statement, because...
They've already got Jessica Jones, so why not do something else?
Well, not that, because I actually don't think he means what you just said. I think he just said that because it's the one female show they've got. I think there's a lack of creativity in how he describes what this show is. Instead of saying, oh, we're going to do this new thing that's exciting and it does this and it does that, it's like, oh no, it's just like the one we've already got.
Yeah.
It feels like, I don't know.
It also feels strange. It's like, when people go, oh, it's going to be Game of Thrones-esque, but at least they're not HBO saying that. Yeah, so they're going, we want something like that. This is someone going, well, we've already got Jessica Jones, but let's have another one.
But that's the thing. I don't think he actually means a show that's anything like Jessica Jones. I think he literally just means there's a female lead character. That's what it feels like.
I kind of hope so, because I love Jessica Jones, but I want something different as well. But then at the same time, I hope he's right, just so that he didn't speak just like a moron.
Because it almost sounds like all shows with female leads are the same. Like, that's kind of what it comes across sounding like.
That's what I mean. So I kind of hope he's right in that it is Jessica Jones-esque, just so it doesn't make him look bad.
But then if we get like some sort of private investigator or Jessica Jones style show, like,
why don't I just watch Jessica Jones?
Yeah, it's just weird. Like, no, do something else.
Exactly.
I don't know. I think the wording there's quite poor, but again, it's such an offhand little comment. Or there's something in development that we can't talk about. I mean, that can never see the light of day. Even if we think that sees the light of day later, it may be something that was cancelled, and then something else just sounds like it might be the same thing. So it's almost not news, but
the fact is, it's not Mockingbird. So who cares?
It's not Mockingbird, no. That's a shame. So going over to AMC. Well, actually, not AMC. We're going over to Shudder, but AMC owns Shudder. If you didn't know that. Yeah, they do. Shudder's
okay. That's news to me.
Thing. But they have acquired season 1 of a French science fiction show called Missions. And they're also going to co-produce the second season, which is going to consist of 10 episodes in 2018. And so they're going to put that on Shudder in all of their current territories, which for the record is the US, Canada, UK, and Ireland. That's all their places. So season 1's coming in September 28th to all those Shudder territories. Missions tells how an expedition on Mars is transformed into a rescue mission to save a competitor's ship and crew. The series addresses the future of our species and planet, drawing unexpected parallels between Mars and the Earth by means of a powerful and unusual ecological allegory.
Sounds interesting.
I do kind of want to check this out.
Yeah.
I do actually want to check this. This actually sounds kind of cool, and I'm always for, because we don't really watch. I watch a decent amount of foreign film, but I feel like foreign TV shows are a bit fewer and further between.
Yeah, because I feel like you don't really hear about them unless they come to somewhere like this. Whereas, foreign film, the ones that are notable enough kind of make their way through.
Yeah, but no, it sounds cool. I do want to check it out. So, and we already know we're getting to season 2, so it must be doing kind of well. It does mention here in the article actually that it's critically praised in France.
Well, I mean, they would say that, wouldn't they?
Well,
it's critically shit on, but we want you to watch anyway.
Well, yeah, but it's not. It's the article's wording, not theirs.
Okay. All right. Okay. I thought that was part of the press release.
No.
Right. Got you.
So no, that sounds good. So next up, Fox has given a pilot order to a single camera comedy from writer Billy Finnegan, who's from Grace and Frankie, which I've never heard of. It's untitled. It's a very short description, but here's what it is. It tells the story of a girl who meets a boy, but the boy does not notice. But when the girl meets a bus, the boy notices, sort of.
I'll give them one thing. They know how to write a description that tells you nothing, but gives you interest.
I feel the exact... Okay, so she gets hit by a bus, and he kind of notices. I do like how it's written. So
Yeah.
if the writer wrote that description, and that's his style of humour, I'm probably going to like the show.
I think it's inventively written for a description. It bucks the trend of, how many generic comedy pilot synopsises do we read?
Yeah, and if the show if the show doesn't get called Girl Meets Bus, I'm going to be disappointed, because that's a great title.
This is pretty good.
But no. Speaking of comedies, Will Ferrell and Adam McKay's company are producing 2 new shows for CBS. The first one is based on a book that's called Things You Should Already Know About Dating, You Effing Idiot. And it's actually censored like that in the title. I mean, obviously, CBS aren't going to put out a show with that title. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if by the time, if it does actually get greenlit and it goes to series, I wouldn't be surprised if the last part of that title gets chopped off and it just becomes Things You Should Already Know About Dating.
Maybe. Kind of loses some of its tone, though.
It was the same with, what was that Kevin Smith movie about the couple making a porno? Like they took off the rest
Zack
of the
and Miri
title.
make a porno.
Yeah, and it became just Zack and Miri.
Did it actually?
Yeah, did you not know about this?
No, I've just always known it as the full title.
No, it was like they basically censored the title, and a lot of the posters just said Zack and Miri because a lot of people wouldn't promote with the full title.
Fair enough.
So I could see that happening, especially since it's CBS. But yeah, so they're looking to develop that. And basically the description is this: the series explores how millennials date. That's it.
Ugh, I'm out.
The second project is a comedy starring Isla Fisher. No other information, but it was kind of just tagged on to the other announcements. So, but yeah, so she's the lead character in the other one.
I'm more interested in that one already.
I do like Isla Fisher. I can't
Exactly.
that. Hulu has given a series order to a new high school comedy series from Awesomeness TV. I hate that name, Awesomeness TV. You should be ashamed of yourselves.
Do I hate it or do I love it?
You hate it. It is obnoxiously stupid.
Right.
Because I can just see the person naming it and going, "Oh, this sounds pure cool. Awesomeness. Oh." No, it's not.
I kind of respect them just sticking with it. Going, yeah, screw it. We're doing it anyway.
Stupid. It's going to be a 10 episode half-hour series called All Night. It follows a group of teens at an overnight lock-in graduation party at which the new grads will do whatever it takes to make their remaining high school dreams come true. It's expected to come out next year. So it sounds like it's kind of the comedy version of a 24 style show where it's all going to be set in one night.
Yeah.
Not quite real time because it'll be 5 hours long and maybe the actual time will be like 10, 12 hours, but I actually kind of like that concept. I kind of like the idea. It's just a case of what's the writing like and what are they actually doing at the party. Will that be entertaining? Will I be engaged?
Yeah, that's it, isn't it?
All right, next up. Actually, I feel like I heard about this at some point, but I don't think we've ever really spoken about it. But Netflix have announced a premiere date, actually, but I've put it in the new show section because we've got a full description.
Oh,
and
go on.
whatnot. But November 22nd, we're getting a 7-episode limited series. So it's one and done. It is a western called Godless, and it stars Jeff Daniels.
I think we've definitely heard about this because when we look at the Netflix upcoming things, so we keep track of this stuff.
Oh yeah,
we've,
but I mean,
we've looked at it before and spoke to each other, but I don't think we've spoken about it on the show.
Yeah, I don't think it was ever in the news where I'm like, okay, they've announced this, so here's what it's about. Like, I don't think we've ever done that in the show. So here's what it is. The Western stars Jeff Daniels as a notorious criminal, Frank Griffin, who, along with his band of outlaws, is on a mission of revenge against Roy Good, played by Jack O'Donnell, who betrayed Griffin and his men. While on the run, Roy seeks refuge with hardened widower Alice Fletcher, played by Michelle Dockery, an outcast herself in the worn-down, isolated mining town of La Belle, New Mexico, which is governed mainly by a woman. When word reaches La Belle that Griffin is headed their way, the town bands together to defend itself against the murderous gang of the lawless western frontier. So it sounds okay, actually. But like I said, I remember the title from us looking at like Netflix's schedule, but I had no idea what to expect from it. But it sounds pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, I definitely didn't know it was a limited series, only 7 episodes.
It is created by Steven Soderbergh, which I'm not a big fan of his movies, but I mean, I
like them well enough. I don't think they're amazing, but they're generally enjoyable.
I don't know how much input he has on the show necessarily. He could just be, producing it, but otherwise letting other creatives like actually do the writing and directing and whatnot. I have no idea.
At most, he'll have directed the first episode, I imagine.
He potentially has. I mean, depends how hands-on he was with it. Because sometimes it's just like their companies producing it.
No, that's what I mean. That's to say, at most.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Alright, next up, Sony Pictures Television is developing a reboot of Starsky and Hutch.
Really?
The interesting part, though, is that James Gunn is involved. In fact, not only is James Gunn involved, his brother Brian Gunn and their cousin Mark Gunn is also involved. They're all producing and they're all writing as well. The original series starred David Soul and Paul Michael Glazer, and it ran for 4 seasons in the 70s on ABC. No network for this one, but buddy cop show in the fictional city of Bay City, taking down crime.
I'm far more interested after you said James Gunn was involved.
Of course,
up to that, I was like, really?
I've never seen the show. I've never seen the movie either that came out like 10 years ago with Ben Stiller and Owen Wilson.
It was all right.
I've never seen that. As I understand it, though, that show was not representative of the movie wasn't representative of the show, because it's basically kind of like 21 Jump Street done it successfully, but you know how 21 Jump Street, it was kind of making fun of the old show. It wasn't actually what the old show was.
Yeah.
I believe that movie was also like, the original show wasn't that much of a comedy as what the movie was, at least as I understand it. So I wonder if this is going to be more of a, maybe not a super series, given that it's the Guns that are writing. I can see it having, being witty, but I wonder if it's...
But a bit more played straight instead of as a comedy.
I imagine so. But I mean, I'm just kind of guessing more than anything else.
I think I'd prefer that.
I'd probably prefer it as well. I don't know if I need a wacky hijinks cop show.
No, but with some wit and humour, but played still relatively straight.
Yeah, give me the more kind of... Give me a dry comedy.
I mean, we just enjoyed Comrade Detective, which was kind of, it was played straight as the buddy cop stuff, but had comedy elements to it as well.
Yeah, that was played straight, but it had all this funny satire on top of it. Whereas with this, I'd maybe at least bet. I mean, I don't really care if I end up not liking it. I'm not going to lose sleep about it. But if you're asking me what I want from it, probably a dry wit as opposed to a sort of wacky hijinks would be
I'm the same.
Would be my pick. All right, so next up, STARZ have put in development. They've got the rights to develop an action drama series called Black Samurai, which is based on some books. It's going to start and is produced by Common.
Okay.
Yeah, are you familiar with who that is?
Yeah, rapper.
Right, cool. Just
pretty sure. Unless I'm mixing it up with
No, I
think
it is. I think it is. But I wasn't that familiar, so it was a weird name to read. Like not knowing who it was. It's like just Common. I'm like, oh, okay, right. Is that like Madonna? I guess it is. So I assumed he was a musician because it's usually musicians who have the one-word names.
That's a good point. You don't see many actors with it, do you?
No, the only sort of filmmaker, and that's using that term loosely, that I can think of is McG.
Yeah.
And I use the term filmmaker
Yeah.
loosely
Yeah.
in that scenario. So it's based on the Black Samurai novels written by Mark Holden, and they're old novels as well. I think they were written in the 70s. Black Samurai will follow the character of Robert Sand, played by Common, a highly trained American army ranger whose life is transformed when he meets a legendary Japanese master who invites him to train as a samurai. After his beloved sensei and samurai brothers are killed by mercenaries, Sand is thrust into a worldwide journey of both revenge and self-discovery. That sounds amazing. I'm not gonna lie.
I'm so into this.
I'm down. I mean, admittedly, the quality could be terrible. Make or break on that. But the idea of this guy who becomes a samurai and then like travels the world for revenge, I'm kind of down with this idea. So
yeah, did this one have a network?
STARZ, yeah.
STARZ, okay.
Yeah, so it should be violent.
Yeah.
They could go all out with the sword fights on this one, cutting off limbs.
They could put a bit of budget into it if they wanted to.
Yeah, even if they don't, I could see this having a charm to it, even if it is pretty low budget.
Right.
If this was at the level of budget of Ash vs Evil Dead, which is also a Star show, I could see that working quite well with this. If they make it
also has plenty of gore.
Yeah, and if that's make it a little bit campy, not super campy, but just a little bit, have a bit of humour to it, I could see it working that way.
Yeah.
Or if they want to go with a more
this.
samurai serious show, they could just be a case of how they handle it and what they do with it. But I'm down. Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Next up, 20th Century Fox is working on a show. No network for this one. This is just the studio working, making the show. It's called The Hacker is Watching. The news this week is that screenwriter-director Gillian Simpson is being hired to write the show. The Hacker is Watching is based on a 2012 GQ investigative article. We don't say that often, but we say based on book, based on video game, based on
occasionally based on podcast,
based on a comic. Yeah, podcast is the sort of weirder newest one we've had, but now we have investigative article. But yeah, so that was written by David Kushner about the origins, causes, and cycles of cyber hacks and the countermeasures of cybersecurity. The thriller will focus on a computer hacker who uses webcams to spy on university students. So there's not a lot to go on there in terms of tone or how it's going to tackle it necessarily, but at least I can see the potential of having a villain who's doing that, and it's kind of creepy. I can almost see almost a slight horror bent to it.
Yeah.
We've got this guy watching college students. I can see that working.
My one thing is please treat hacking properly.
I think it would have to in this case.
It surely has to, and I'm hopeful based on it's based on an actual factual article.
Honestly,
instead of just,
I think for the most part they don't even have to go into the actual hacking though. I think it's more about the countermeasures are there, but I feel like they don't actually have to go into the nitty gritty of how they're actually doing it. It's more about the effects of it and the people who are employed to stop it. I feel like the actual jargon of this is what I'm actually doing to do it, or this is what I'm doing to actually stop it. I feel like that stuff doesn't even need to be explored that well.
No, but it'll have to be there in some capacity, and I hope it doesn't feel cheap, because I think that could break the immersion in a show like that for me.
I think just as long as the screens just have nothing but code on them instead of CGI virtual worlds where it's going through
I'm thinking
a maze.
Of Mr. Robot, a lot of you could take the actual hacking out and the minutia, and a lot of it still works because the character dramas and the plans and everything like that. But because it treats it properly, it gives it an extra level of depth and realism.
Sure. You went for a response?
Yeah. I'd hope this does as well.
Yeah. If they focus more on the thriller aspect, though, I'm happy for the cyber stuff. I mean, as much as that's what it's about, I could see them focusing on just, okay, this is how it affects people, rather than actually caring about the nitty gritty of how it's done. But it might want to go that route. But I can see it working without that as well. If it's more of okay, it's creepy that someone might be watching you. It's basically that Black Mirror episode, but a series made out of it. Without the weird justice angle to it from the hacker. Right. But no, potential. I think there's some ideas there. Next up, NBC have put in a pilot order for a show that's being produced by Robert Zemeckis and Jeff Rake. Zemeckis, of course, made Back to the Future, done a lot of movies recently, did Flight, bunch of stuff, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, whole host of things, and also those really creepy CG animated movies like Polar Express.
I never saw it.
Uncanny Valley kind of stuff going on there.
Okay, we have that point.
Creepy to me, but yeah. So it's called Manifest, and it follows the passengers of a plane that disappeared from radar and returned 5 years later after being untraceable and presumed lost at sea. No time has passed for those in the plane, but for the loved ones at home, 5 years have gone by.
Interesting.
It's not bad. It's funny because I read the first half of this and I thought, that sounds a bit like Lost. Before I got to the whole it's 5 years later for everyone else and they show up. Because that was also ABC. I thought they try to recapture some of their old glory. Yeah. But I'm like, okay, it sounds kind of like... It's almost like someone said, alright, let's do our version of The Leftovers, but it's about them coming back.
Right, it's the idea of, okay, they vanish and come back and just see how has the world changed in 5 years? Because things can change a lot in 5 years.
No, admittedly, yeah, it's unlike The Leftovers, it's not a global thing where, 140 million people disappeared, but the idea that some people come back and maybe their spouses have remarried and things like that.
Right, exactly. So and just, them adapting, even things like if technologies change, what's changed in 5 years, catching up.
Also, this is NBC, not ABC, so disregard my comment about ABC trying to recapture their former glory.
NBC going, we want a loss, damn it.
Yeah, basically. Well, that's the thing. Like, as much as I can see a lot of potential for the human drama, there's actually that core mystery. Like, how did the plane skip 5 years? Like, what happened?
Right, assuming they're ever going to answer it.
I feel like part of the show has to be the investigation of it.
Yeah,
maybe it won't be, but I feel like
I just mean because obviously you brought up The Leftovers, and obviously that's kind of like it happened. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened. It's not important. The important thing is the effects.
I don't think that'll be what happens on NBC. I feel like part of this. I think part of the appeal that NBC wants from this is the mystery and the ongoing.
Yeah, probably.
Well, what caused this? So I think you have the character dramas of all the things that have changed, and then you have. I don't know, like maybe what they do for the investigative side of it is like you have a character on the plane who is kind of qualified to look into it, and then you have someone who wasn't on the plane who has been looking into it for 5 years, and then you have them join forces and like, okay, what happened here? And I can see the potential. Now NBC, of course, don't necessarily always make great stuff, but I can see this working. I can see potential in this.
NBC is one of those networks where I have a bit more respect for them. Like, say what you will about something like Hannibal and feelings on the third season, but there was a level of letting it do its thing.
Oh yeah, it wasn't just like carbon copy network TV.
It didn't feel like network TV exactly. So and I feel like
but even something like Timeless, which does feel like network TV, it's good network TV.
Right, exactly. Like NBC I kind of have a bit more leeway with them than some of the other networks, even though they've put out some shite.
Oh yeah, I mean it's still admittedly like you're talking about one good show maybe every couple of years. It's not
right. Of course, let's not go overboard, but I don't disregard them in the same way I do CBS.
All right. So next up, ABC this time are developing a legal thriller. It is untitled at the moment. It is described as part legal thriller and part confessional, part revenge fantasy. It centers on a female prosecutor who loses the trial of the century and is shredded by the media in the process. The drama chronicles what happens when 8 years later the murderer who got off scot-free strikes again. See, it's funny, you hear legal drama or legal thriller and I'm like, oh, that sounds boring and generic, it's probably going to be procedural. And then I read the description, I'm like, oh no, that doesn't sound like procedural at all. That sounds like, no, this is the premise of the show where you've got a killer who's came back that they could have put away. And how did he explore that? Now, admittedly, on ABC, I don't know if I'm expecting anything great, but see that description, if that description was like Netflix or HBO, I'd be like all over that.
Yeah, definitely.
ABC, sure, we'll give it a chance, but I'm not.
But don't trust them enough to assume that they won't screw it up.
No, but I can just see like on the last one, could also be crap, but this one I can see. Yeah, I can just look at it and see how the networkiness of it will let it down. But then again, if sometimes they go above and beyond, like USA Network, we laughed at everything they put out. It's like, oh, nothing for them will be good. And then one day Mr. Robot hit, and it's like, wait, what?
Yeah,
you can do this. So you never know. Potential's there. Next up, we have the Unrequited, which is NBC have put in a pilot order for this, although it's 20th Century Fox who are actually making it, so this is a little bit old school. I don't think this happens as much anymore. It still does, but this used to be really common back in like the 90s and stuff, and before that, when you'd have lots of like studios making things for other networks, whereas typically now, for the most part, they'll make things for their own network.
Right, it's just easier, isn't it?
It is easier, but at the same time, the reason why it doesn't always happen is because they'll develop a show, but then they'll go, this doesn't really fit the audience that watches our network. You know, like CBS, all the procedural stuff, is sometimes a show made by Fox or Universal.
Yeah, they'll give it to CBS because it's like, it'll get more viewers, more money.
But so the Unrequited revolves around 4 adult siblings who descend in their mother's home for the funeral of their father, the former governor of California. After the youngest and only son finds an old unopened love letter from a college girlfriend, it starts a chain of events that might change the trajectory of both his own life and the members of his family. It's funny, actually, the first time I read that, I assumed the letter was his father's. Like, it was his father's girlfriend from college that he'd found a letter from. But reading it again, it sounds like it's just his.
Yeah, read the sentence again to me.
After the youngest and only son finds an old, unopened love letter from a college girlfriend, it starts a chain of events that might change the trajectory of blah 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 blah.
Could be either.
It sounds like his, which doesn't make as much sense to me, because if it's the father's letter, I can see how that maybe starts to unravel the past. Like, what happened that this didn't,
right?
Who was this girl?
What could his college girlfriend say?
But if it's just his college girlfriend, like, why does that affect the lives of his family? Because at least if it was his father and there's maybe like a mystery that builds from there and like all this stuff they didn't know about.
It's also, he's the youngest, so that would be the most recent in terms of, college age.
Yeah, so
it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal in the past.
So yeah, I get why it'd affect him. Maybe he like misses this girl, maybe there was something about this girl, and that maybe like makes him question his current midlife crisis or whatever. Maybe his marriage isn't so hot right now, and I remember being all happy with this girl. And
but it sounds more like something to do with the fact, while the father was getting into politics or something, and it's like, and there were some secrets. Yeah,
it feels like there's some kind of mystery going on there, to an extent.
All right, here you go. Calling it now. It is the father's letter, and it's her saying she's pregnant, and he had another kid the whole time, and they didn't know about it.
Okay.
Because the whole thing is, it's 4 siblings, and it's like, we have another half sibling.
Oh, what if it's him though?
Or that, yeah.
Nah, that wouldn't make sense. So he's the youngest.
No, 'cause it's unopened, wasn't it?
Oh, but he's the youngest.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be. How would it be him if he's the youngest one?
That's a good point. Did it say the letter was unopened?
Where is it? Yes, unopened. Yes.
Right. So I'm assuming the father never knew about this.
Yeah. So if it's she's pregnant, then at that point, okay, there's not much mystery. It's just about the drama of like this new person coming into their lives.
Right.
Maybe we're reading into the mystery side of it too much.
Maybe we are.
But it comes from the showrunner of Pitch, though, which is maybe the one bit of credence it has for quality.
Okay, that makes me more inclined towards it than I was before.
Yeah. So, I don't know. I mean, I admit I wish he was just making a season 2 of Pitch, but unfortunately,
yeah, that's not his fault.
Unfortunately, Fox cancelled it, but here we are.
Damn Fox.
So, last in the news this week, CBS is got a show. This was a competitive.
They've got a show.
Yeah, it was a competitive situation. So I was going to say they ordered a pilot, but it sounds like they actually fought for this. Like it was being shopped around, and they wanted it the most. It's called God Friended Me, and sure enough, Greg Berlanti is one of the producers because he's producing everything on TV these days. It is a light hour-long procedural.
Sounds like a Greg Berlanti show.
God Friended Me is described as a humorous, uplifting series which explores the questions of faith, existence, and science. It centres on an outspoken atheist whose life is turned upside down when he is friended by God on Facebook. Unwittingly, he becomes an agent of change in the lives and destinies of others around him. You know what? I'll give them it. It's kind of a cool premise. I'm not going to lie.
It is. It sounds fun.
You know what? It's probably the most interesting thing I've read that CBS has in development in a long time. So I'll give them that.
It's kind of sad though, isn't it?
I can see it. I can see it being kind of like just kind of cheesy and cheery.
Yeah, it could be alright though.
It could be. I can see me not hating the pilot, but not feeling the need to watch any more of it.
Yeah, it seems like the sort of thing that you just put on the background.
Yeah. Yeah. I just, if I'm going to predict how I'm going to feel, I'm going to, that's okay. It's inoffensive. It's fine. It's got a couple of nice ideas. But the joke that God's friended him on Facebook will be old in a couple of episodes, so I'll probably just not bother with anymore. But again, I'm just guessing based on what they're saying, telling me here. So no, that's news. That's everything. That is everything this week. So decent amount of stuff. I guess that lets us pick what our favourite episode of TV was this week.
Yeah.
Which for me is Twin Peaks, because I mean, Room 104 could rival it, but this week's was probably the weakest episode of Room 104. So
right, and The Defenders wasn't up there.
No, unfortunately not.
I think it had some good episodes, and some very good episodes, but I don't think any of them rivaled, like that sort of level of TV.
No, none of them rivaled Twin Peaks this week. It's certainly not.
I'm just trying to think, did I like Twin Peaks more than Game of Thrones this week? I don't know.
I feel like, do you know what? This is the bad thing about only having a couple of shows right now. I feel like every single week when I ask this question, Cora's like, did I like Twin Peaks better than Game of Thrones this week? I don't know, did I?
Well, that's good, but you don't even have to do that. You go, well, it's Twin Peaks.
I know, but it was just...
Which one's more boring? At least I've got something to choose between.
Yeah, but it's the same debate every week.
I know, but Game of Thrones had a really good action-packed episode.
Well,
I'm giving it to Game of Thrones for the zombies.
Okay, there you go. That's our favourite episodes of TV of the week. Which I guess brings us an end to this rolling shambles that is our news show. So let us know what you think of any of the news that popped up in this week's show. Be sure to check out other things we've got on the channel. Obviously, we do all the TV reviews, we mentioned those, but we have movie reviews and stuff like that as well. You can check out in our DC Comics podcast, should you be into comics. But yeah, so check out stuff on the channel. Head over to patreon.com/MelFuzzTV. You can support us over there if you enjoy what you see here, and you can, maybe, eventually lead to us having more content and more news shows. Because one of the first goals, if we hit a certain amount, is to do a movie news show just like this one. Exact same thing, but you basically get a second one of these, but with a different batch of news every week. Which, depending on how much you like these rambles and me and Connor arguing about stupid things, may be a good or bad thing. I don't know.
Yeah. And obviously, network TV season's coming up. Not long.
Oh God, yes.
Things are going to get busy soon.
Things are going to get busy. In fact, we're currently looking at the schedule and saying, okay, what do we have time for? What can we realistically do? So as we get closer, we'll actually make more definitive choices and sort of shout about what we're going to do. So I would say this, actually, if there's anything that we covered last season that you definitely want us to cover again, like you'd be heartbroken if we didn't keep doing it, say in the comments.
Time to let us know.
Yeah, scream about it. Scream, no, don't give up X show. Yeah, so do that in the comments. But we'll look at it, because last year it got really hectic at a certain point in the year. And admittedly, that was kind of bad luck, just because a lot of cable shows just happened to start at the exact same goddamn time, and we had like double digits of TV shows on top of all the other things we do on the channel, so it got really chaotic. But so check out stuff, like, subscribe, all that jazz. Get us on Twitter at mailed_fudge for channel updates. But that's us. So thank you once again for watching. Keep watching TV. We'll see you next time. Have you got any vanilla?